Good morning, SMP Nation. Blaine Austin here at Sewing Machines Plus, and welcome to our Thursday live show. Hey, we have got Janome in the house today. We're going to talk about a great machine. We got Sam Fung going to be here. But before we get too deep in the show, I got to say a big shout out to some SMP Nation that's tuned in this morning. We have Jill Sweet from Wisconsin. We have Nancy Fitzgerald from Central Ohio. We have Ramona Martinez from San Bernardino, Nana from coastal Georgia. We have Laurie Scott from Wyoming. We have Mandy Swanson from Ohio, Candace Johnson from Kentucky, and Jennifer Henderson from Tennessee. So good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Hope that I saw the San Bernardino. Hope that everybody up in the LA area is survived the fires. I tell you, that has been just terrible what's going on in the Pacific Palisades and, all those areas up there. And, they still don't have that contained. They don't have the Eaton fire contained. And so we're a little concerned still. And Road to California starts next week. And so we're going to be there in a big way. And from right now, they're telling us everything is good to go. That Eaton fire is about 30 miles from Ontario, California, where the Road to California is at. And so I don't know if they're getting any smoke or anything yet, but right now the show is still going on. So if y'all planning on coming, we sure would like to see you there. And man, we've got a huge lineup of people that are going to be there. We've got 7 different booths that we're going to be manning, and we got some of your favorite celebrities going to be there. You got people like Jane Klaus going to be there, Carly Bell, Becky Thompson, and just the list keeps going on and on. Belle Bruner, Aubrey Hartman. So a lot of the people you've seen on our shows are going to be there. And so we're looking forward to seeing you. If you show up, come by and say hi to us and get your picture made with one of those celebrities. We are, going to be there. I think we start setting up on Sunday and Monday. And then the show starts on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. is the preview night. And then the full show starts Wednesday through Saturday. So busy week next week. And we're going to be coming to you live. Jane and I will be from Road to California. So y'all make sure you mark that on your calendars. We're going to be next Wednesday at 3 p.m. We're going to be coming to you live 3 p.m. Central Time. Pacific Time, which would be 5 p.m. Central. We're going to come to you live from the show. And Jane's going to walk around and we're going to interview some of the people in our booths. We're going to give you a little sneak peek of the show. And then on Thursday and Friday mornings at our normal time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Central, we're going to come to you live again. We're going to have we'll probably be an hour or 2 show. We're going to go around and we're going to dive into some of our booths. We're going to show you what's going on. And the great thing that we're going to do this year is we're actually going to be able to give you all the specials that we have in our booths at Road to California. We're going to be able to give you those same specials, and you can call in and get those same specials. So it's going to be pretty cool. We've never done that exactly like that before. So this will be the first time we've never done that. So you'll be kind of part of the Road to California show if you can't come out and make it. So a lot of fun stuff. All right, some more dates I want to tell you about. We next Tuesday, the Road to California preview show starts, but Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Central. Joanne Banco is going to be here for our Takeover Tuesday, and you see all the stars there. We're going to have 3 of our Takeover Tuesday people out in California next week, so that'll be a lot of fun. So you'll actually get to see everybody next week. You'll get to see Joanne on Tuesday, her regular show on Takeover Tuesday, and you get to see Jane, Becky, and Carly at the Road to California Quilt Show. So it's going to be kind of cool. Then guess what else is coming up? We have our Quilt Fest. We have already started working on Quilt Fest. The dates on that are March the 10th through the 14th. And we'll be streaming to you live for 5 straight days, all day long. and we're going to have a lot of great quilt specials, and our quilt contest is going to start. So y'all probably know about that by now if you've been tuned in for us very long. We have a quilt contest that you can make your quilt, enter it through pictures. We have rules that you have to go by, and we're going to have those. I think they're going to have that page. I think they're working on it now, so it should be live where you can go read all about it pretty quick. But you can always find that on our events page off the website. It's always at the top of our SewingMachinesPlus.com website. At the very top of the page, it has a little tab that says events and classes, and you can actually find that information there. But they should have that launched live pretty soon, and you'll be able to see the rules that you need to do to get your quilt entered. You'll just have to take pictures of it. That's all you have to do to enter it, and it has to be a current quilt, something you've made I think in the last, I don't remember how many months it is, but maybe it's the last 12 months, and it can't have not been entered in another quilt contest. So you can do that, and we got some great prizes we're going to give away for the people who win. Has some professional judges that are going to be judging it. And then what's really great too, we're going to have 2 educational sessions per day for the 5 days, for a total of 10 educational sessions, and they're 30 minutes each. And we went out and handpicked a bunch of teachers that are going to come in and actually teach a class for you. So it'll be a lot of good things. And then plus you get to see all the national educators doing demonstrations on many of the machines that you've been wanting or wishing for. And naturally, we're going to have some really great specials to enable you to purchase one of those if you want to. So, all right. I think that was all of the business that I have today. I hope that you are having decent weather. I know I looked at the weather map across the United States, and I know a lot of y'all are really getting some cold weather right now up in the Northeast, all across the Midwest. It's very cold. And we've had a little bit of cold weather, but not too much. We're out here in Southern California. We're fortunate that we get pretty nice weather most of the time, but it's, I know it's nothing like y'all are getting. Trust me, y'all are, I see it, what the temperatures are. And there's kind of a big cold front going across the United States, kind of the central to north, all the way across the United States this week. So anyway, I hope that y'all stay safe and warm. And we're going to warm you up right now, because we are going to talk all about some Janome machine today. And we've got Sam Fung. He's our buddy. He's been on our show many times, and Sam and I go way back too. And so y'all, welcome to the show, Sam Fung. Hey, Sam.
Hi, Blaine.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. You staying warm?
I'm trying to. It's cold here.
I know y'all got a lot of cold weather. I was noticing on the the weather map how cold it was up in your area. So thank you for showing up today. I know it's when y'all have bad weather, you never know if you're going to even be able to. Sometimes y'all lose electricity and all kinds of stuff. So thank y'all for being able to do this. And I know we're talking about one of your favorite machines today, and so I'm gonna let you take it away. You get finished up, I'm gonna come back and tell them my favorite features, and then we're gonna tell them how they can get one.
Okay, great. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the Skyline S7 Anniversary Edition. This machine is like our 10th anniversary for the Skyline series. This is the Skyline S7 that I have right here. It is a 350 stitch machine. As you can see up here on the lid, it shows you all the different stitches that's built into the machine. You have utility stitches, you have buttonholes, we have appliques, heirloom, a lot of quilting stitches. We have satin stitches, a lot of decorative stitches for doing crazy quilting. A lot of these nice stitches you can put on your binding. You have long stitches, pictographs, and some play stitches. And this, one thing nice about this machine is it is very similar to maybe if you have a bigger machine at home, like if you have the 9450 or M8 or the Janome CM17, this will be like the sewing portion of those machines. This one sews only, it does not embroider. So I just want to let you know that you have decorative stitches, but there is no hoop, so there is no embroidery for this machine. Okay, So what I'm talking about is like the big machine is, you have your auto foot up and down right here, the button for that. You have your scissors. You have your needle up, needle down, your tie off key, your reverse key. You also have a start stop button on this machine. And of course, like most Janome, we have a slider bar, or I call it the cruise control. So you can slow down or speed up depending on what you want to do. Another nice thing about this machine is, like most of our machine, the sides do open up so you can look into the machine. It does have a built-in needle threader right here. It does have an upgraded needle threader, and it threads the needle very nice, very easily. Another thing on this machine is we have what's called a quick change plate. So if I remove the extension table right here in the machine in the front, up here I have a lever at the front of the arm. When I press down the lever, okay, the plate automatically pops up, and there is no screws right here, so I don't have to worry about burrs or anything like that. And right now, as you can see, this is my standard plate, the zigzag plate, because it has an oval shape opening, and it comes with the straight stitch plate also. We call this the straight stitch plate because we have 3 single hole position on this plate. You have it in the center, the left, and the right needle position. So for me to change the plate on the machine, I simply just line it up to the side, give it a good press, and I get a message saying the straight stitch plate is on the machine. I touch the X to get out of here, and I'm ready to sew. And you notice on the machine right here, all I have, because of the straight stitch plate being on the machine, all I have is my straight stitches, so I can't make a mistake and accidentally choose a zigzag stitch or something like that and break a needle. So there are sensors on the plate, so the machine is pretty much safeguarded. So let me change the plate back out. And again, we simply touch it, press the lever, it comes out. Put the other one back in, the zigzag one back in. And it says, please make sure proper foot is attached. Okay, touch the X, and there's all my other stitches again. So it's just that easy, simple to use. This machine is very easy to use. Right here, the first button, I don't know if you guys can see it up close because we have a lot of studio lights in here. This first button is my utility section. In the utility section is basically the stitches you would use most often. These are considered utility stitches, like your zigzag stitches, your straight stitch, some of your lightning stitch, which is your stretch stitch. To go to the next page, I simply touch the arrow to the bottom, and I can see my next row of utility stitches, which is my overcast stitches, and it also tells you the foot to use. Now, the nice thing about this machine is on the very front of here, if I want to make any adjustment, like if I want to make the stitch width to be wider, I can either touch the plus or the minus key to make my stitch wider, if it will let me. Like this right here, I can make it shrink it down smaller, and I can make it wider. I can't go any bigger than what the original built-in default setting is. They do have that safeguard built in, so you can't mess up the design. So it's very easy to use. If I want to see like the utility stitches and the buttonholes on the first place, so if I wanted to see the buttonholes, I can just simply touch that, and it start off my buttonhole designs are right here. And there are several of them, as you can see. There are 11 different buttonhole stitches, some button sewing. I have some fly stitches right here, and some eyelet designs right here. And if you notice, it tells me to use the R foot, which is my buttonhole foot. And I would simply use this right here. It comes with your buttonhole foot. And if you guys are still using a mechanical machine, not a fully electronic machine, this is a fully automatic buttonhole maker, which means you pull this buttonhole back, you put the button back here, put it on the machine, And up here in the back, you have a lever that we pull down, and it's for the machine to let you know where to do the bar tack. So you always pull that down. And one thing nice about this machine is if you're doing a buttonhole and you forget to pull this lever down, the machine will not stitch until you pull this lever down. You'll get a message that pull down buttonhole lever. So this machine's pretty clever. So in some of the other machines, the entry level machine that has this automatic buttonhole lever, if you forget to pull it down, what will happen is it will keep stitching. It will keep stitching. It won't do the bar tack. So this one, it is some safeguard on here, just like your bigger machines that if you have one of those. Talking about the bigger machine, nice about this machine is it does have 9mm feet. Okay, because you do have a 9mm stitch width on this machine, you have 91 needle position in the center needle position. So let me go back there and show you that. Okay, I'm gonna go back to utility. And I'll go back to the very first stitch. Right now on my utility stitch, on the bottom display panel, it shows me 4.5, which is my center needle position. To adjust my needle position, if I wanted to move to the left, I simply touch the minus key, and you can kind of see it on the needle moving right here, and also on the screen. You can see the needle has moved to the left. Now, if I want to move it to the right, I simply touch the plus key, and you can see it moving on the screen. And you can also see it moving, the needle moving one increment at a time. Once it's as far as it'll go, it'll just make a little beep to let you know that's as far as it'll go. And like here on the screen, it shows 9.0 is the widest you can make it. So you have 9mm position, 91 needle position on this machine, which is wonderful. The other thing you can do is my stitch length. 2.40 is your default stitch length for straight stitch. I can have the stitch length up to a 5.0 stitch length. 5.0 is basically a basting stitch. To do that, I can simply just hold down the plus. It takes my basting stitch up to 5.0. Let me move this over some more so you guys can see. I'm going to move it over a little bit closer to the screen. And you can see right here on the display window, those are my basting stitches. These stitches that you're looking at will be the exact length if we were going to stitch this out. So I have a piece of fabric right here. I'm going to stitch it out so you guys can see how wide a stitch length is. I'm not using the foot control. For me, it's just easier to use my start stop button. So I'm just going to hit the start stop, and it's doing a basting stitch. Now, see what happens when I get close to the edge? I can hold on to the start stop button and the machine stitch ever so slowly. So when I get to the end, I simply let go. The needle will stop in the down position. So if you're piecing or something like that, you don't necessarily have to use the foot control. You can use the start stop button and stop when you get to the end of your seam or wherever you want to. And then when you're done, you simply hit the scissor key. It cuts both of your thread for you. And there it is. There's a nice long basting stitch. You can see the same basting stitch is here on the machine. The other thing I want to point out to you on this machine, because we have an auto lift system, we have what's called a foot up function. And that's this button right here on the very first one on the left. And what that function does is, I'm going to shorten the stitch length some more, okay? And I'm going to shorten it this to back to the normal, which is 2.4. What the foot up button does is when I'm sewing, I'm going to slow the machine down a little bit. Okay, let's say I get to the end. I stop and watch what happens. The foot automatically comes up so I can pivot where I want to and continue sewing. Watch, there the foot comes up, the needle stays down automatically. I don't have to sit here and push the needle button for the needle to go down. It is default in the down needle position. So every time I stop sewing, the needle stays down. So what's so nice is even if I don't need to pivot, sometimes when I'm sewing, I need to have both of my hands on my fabric. This allows me to have like a third hand. I don't lose the position where I'm sewing on this machine. So if you have any of the other Janome that has this function, this is a good thing. And what's so nice about it is, let's say you need another machine. You may not want to take your M8 with you to a class because it's quite heavy. This one, it's only 24 pounds. So this makes a nice travel machine. It's not as lightweight as some of our other ones, but this is a nice machine with a 9mm stitch width, and you can take those other 9mm feet that you have with your other machines. Let's say you have the CM17. You have some of those other feet that doesn't come with this machine. You can put them on here to use on your machine while you're on a retreat, or if you want to take it on your camper, your trailer, whatever, those will fit. So let's talk about what are some of the feet that comes with this machine. One of the main things that comes with this, you do get a knee lift. So we do have a knee lift with this machine also, for those of you who like using a knee lift. You get your nice big foot control. The anniversary edition Skyline S7, you get this extension table with the machine. So if you take this top part off, the extension table will go over here. So you have a nice big flat surface for doing quilting, sewing. You do have a nice table, and you don't have to buy an extra table anywhere. You have some spool caps here. You have a secondary spool pin, and we already covered the buttonhole. And you get a stabilizer plate with the buttonhole foot. And for those of you who don't know, what the stabilizer plate does is this. When you're making a buttonhole, most of the time you'll just be using the buttonhole foot. But if you're making something thick, like a tote bag or something like that, and where you have a hill and a valley, what I call the hill and valley is when you're making a tote bag, you have a seam right here that's thick, and you have like 4 layers of fabric, and you're making your buttonhole right here in this area. And what you would do is you would put your fabric here, put the stabilizer plate on the bottom, put the buttonhole foot on top. So that's what happens is when it's making the buttonhole, your entire piece of fabric is sandwiched. So when you make the buttonhole, you don't have where it ends too soon. So you have a nice bar tack where it's supposed to be. There's no slippage in the fabric. Same thing as if you're doing something sheer, you would use the stabilizer plate. So that's a nice feature that they give you on the machine. Just like a lot of Janome higher end machine have the stabilizer plate with it. You get a rolled hem foot for doing rolled hem. You have a 1/4-inch foot with a guide. You have the zipper foot right here. This is a zipper foot. And what I love about the zipper foot is you have a hole in the center of the zipper foot. So if you accidentally forget to take the zipper foot off and you change to a different stitch and you accidentally hit the needle down, you don't have to worry about breaking a needle. Okay? So that's one thing's nice about having a zipper foot with a hole in the center. And if you in a pinch and you're sewing something sheer and you need a single hole foot but you don't have one available, you can use this because this acts as a single hole. You just have a big closed space in the front, but you could use it as a single hole foot. You have a blind hem foot right here. You have a decorative stitch foot here. There's 350 built-in decorative stitches in the machine, and you would use this special decorative stitch foot. And what's the difference is on the decorative stitch foot, the back, there's a tunnel in the back that allows your decorative stitches to travel through, unlike your standard foot that comes on the machine, which is this one right here. This is our A foot, and it has this little pin back here. If you look on the back, this is flat. This has an area, a tunnel underneath it for your decorative stitches to travel through. Now, this is your standard foot. And in case you don't know, a lot of people don't know about this. Some of you may know it. Just about most of the Janome machine, your standard foot have this little pin in the back. And what this used for is when your foot is on the machine and you're sewing, the foot flexes, okay? When you're going through something thick like a seam, for example, what you would do is you lower the foot, push the button in, and start sewing. And what will happen is, let me put this in a little bit more. I'm putting this right before the seam of the fabric. I push my button in, hit the start button. Well, it wasn't a high enough seam. What it would do is, when it goes to the seam, the foot will be steady. You see how when I push this button in, the foot will not flex anymore now? Okay, so once it jumps over the seam, the button pops back out, your foot is flexible again. So if you're going through a seam on a pair of pants or something like that, like you're hemming a pair of pants, when you get to that seam allowance, before you get to it, push it up, push it in, not up. The foot will kind of stick up a little bit, like this, push it in, let it stitch, and then this will automatically pop out once it goes through the hump, okay? And then it'll start flexing again. So that's what this foot is used for, what that button is used for on that foot. You also get an overcast foot. And if you notice, the overcast foot on the side, it has wires right here. And what the wire used for this on this foot is, you're stitching, your fabric will actually go against the guide right here on the edge when you're sewing it. And if you notice, the edge of the wire is holding onto the edge of the fabric. So what happened is, when you're doing that overcast stitch, and almost like a zigzag stitch, it keeps your edge of the fabric from being pulled under and curled underneath. So what it's doing is similar to a serger. If you have a serger and you look at the serger plate, there's two fingers right there. And then when the overcast, it keeps the fabric from being rolled underneath when you're doing that wide stitch. Same thing. So this is called an overcast foot. That's what it does. This machine comes with the dual feed system. Okay, the dual feed system, a lot of people refer to it as a walking foot. Okay, this is your dual feed. This hooks up to the back of the machine. You would take this ankle off. You would put this piece in there. Now you have feed dogs pulling on the bottom. You also have feed dogs right here on the top, walking your fabric in the same time as the feed dogs on the bottom of your machine. So there is no slippage or anything. Okay? If you're doing plaids or anything like that, anything with stripes, anything that has a pattern, you're trying to match up that pattern, use the dual feed foot. It sandwiches your fabric and it pulls both layers together. So that way there is no shifting. For those of you who sews, and you know that when you sew a long piece of fabric, what happens is you always end up with the top piece being longer than the bottom piece. That's because the bottom piece has the feed dogs pulling the fabric forward. The top, you don't have anything pulling the fabric forward. The standard foot is just there, so you get more pull to the bottom than the top. That's why you have that difference right there. You also get a button sewing foot. You also have 3 different free motion quilting foot. You have a closed toe, an open toe, and an echo quilting foot. The echo quilting allows you to do a zigzag stitch with that also. Okay, and these just snap onto the ankle, so we no longer have to change out the whole system when we're doing free motion quilting. It's just that simple. You also have an open toe foot that comes with the machine. And you also have this is what we now call a mending foot. A lot of people call it a darning foot. That's what we used to call it, a darning foot. But and also some machine, they call this the free motion quilting foot. For those of you who started free motion quilting a while back, this was the only foot available to you. This is the foot that hops up and down on your machine. Some people don't like that. They said it's kind of irritating. So, but that's what this is. It's a mending foot for mending jeans and stuff. Also with the anniversary edition, you get this plastic case and you get some blue bobbins. Okay, some blue bobbins with this machine. And I love these colored bobbins. And then you also get the clear ones also that most of you know. And what's the difference from the clear and the blue bobbins? The blue bobbins have more rubber to them. Yes, you heard that right. Our bobbins, when they manufacture them, the Janome bobbins have some rubber to them. With having some rubber to them, they run a lot quieter on your machine. And how you tell they're genuine Janome bobbins, if you look on the stem of your bobbins or any of them that you get from Janome, in the center of the stem, you'll see the letter J. Because if you're buying stuff on Amazon or online or something, and they say will fit Janome machine, those may not be true Janome bobbins. And those, sometimes they don't work correctly in your machine. If you're having bobbin issues and stuff like that, that may be caused from that, okay? Another thing is, this machine does come with a nice big instruction manual. It's very intuitive. I know some companies don't give you instruction manuals anymore with the machine, but we still give you a printed manual. Now, with the special edition, anniversary edition, for a limited time, they are including the accessory kit. Okay, this is a $260 value for this kit. And what's in this kit is this. Let me show you what's in it. In this kit, you get the HP plate and the HP foot. So like I said, like if you have a big Janome, you know that the MA, the 9450, the Skyline MA, it comes with HP plate and foot. You get that with this machine also. And for those of you who don't know about this plate, you put this plate in, the needle automatically goes to the left needle position. You're using this foot with it. Now this is the scant 1/4 inch foot. The needle comes down in the center. I'll put it on the table, maybe easier. Can they see it? Okay. In the 1/4 inch foot, your needle comes down the middle. You have a scant 1/4 inch to the left or to the right side of your foot. Not only that, just like all our 1/4 inch foot, right here in the front, right here, you have 2 lines. Okay. The back line is where your needle drop is, where your needle comes down. The front line in front of it, it's exactly a 1/4 inch to the needle drop. So if you're sewing something and you're piecing, let's say you're doing a triangle, okay? You want to stop a 1/4 inch. You can stop when your fabric gets to the front line. You just stop because you know there's your 1/4 inch allowance. This stops you from having to rip out that point, okay? So that's what's on there. It's on all our 1/4 inch foot. Talk about 1/4 inch foot. You get a second 1/4 inch foot, okay? You get the one without the guide. So you have one that comes with it with the guide that's standard with the machine. They're giving you this second one that's without the guide. And here's what I'm talking about. There's your line right here where your needle drop. You have a marking for the 1/4 inch before the needle drop And there's, if you look on the very side back here on your left, there's a 1/4 inch behind the guide, behind your needle drop. So you do have one in the front and one in the back. The other thing they give you is this machine, you can do ruler work. There is a ruler work mode, and I'll show you in a minute how to get to there. This is your ruler foot for it. Okay, this is your ruler foot, and this is a 1/2 inch thick ruler foot, which allows you to use, if you're using the Sew Steady Westerly templates, it allows you to use the high shank. You can use their low shank templates, and you can also use some of their long arm templates. The reason I'm saying some is because their long arms get really long, and you're limited to the width, the throat space on your machine before you run into the side. They also give you the open toe mending foot or darning foot, however you want to call it. This, they give you the open toe one, and you also get this one. This is a variable zigzag foot. If you look at this, a lot of people like using this. Okay, the difference is on this one, the back is flat. It doesn't have a tunnel on the back like the F2 foot. A lot of people like using this foot for doing the applique. For those of you who do applique, a lot of people like to use this one because you can see where the applique, where you drop your needle. A lot of people seem to like this foot because there's less of an area in front of the foot for you to see the applique. So this is a variable zigzag foot for doing free motion quilting, but a lot of people prefer using this foot for doing applique. For those of you who have the bigger machines, have this foot. So that's what that's used for. So this is the bonus package that you get. It's a $260 value, and they are giving it to you with this particular machine right now for a limited time. Okay, so going back to the machine, on the machine itself, I'm going to show you how we can get to the different areas of the machine to get to like free motion quilting and things like that. Right here on the very top, you have a t-shirt. We select the t-shirt. When we go into the t-shirt, you have all these different applications like seaming, over edge, rolled hem, gathering. Go to the next page. Right here, you have your quilting function. We have patchwork. This is applique. Right here, quilting, VZZ for variable zigzag, RW for ruler work. So what you would do is select that, and it'll give you your different free motion quilting right here. If you want to do ruler work, I don't know if you guys can see up here, but on the top it says 1/2. That means there's another page 2 here. Turn to the next page, and right here it says ruler work. You simply select ruler work. It tells me to lower my feed dogs. The feed dogs are here on the side of the machine. I just drop my feed dogs. The message goes away. I have a choice between medium thickness or light thickness. What this means is how high you want the foot to be. And it's telling me right here to put the QR foot, which is the ruler work foot. You put that on the machine and you're ready to do ruler work. Now, by default is medium. Most time when I'm doing ruler work, I find that the medium may be a little bit high because I usually tend to use cotton batting, like Warm and Natural, and it seems to be thinner than some of the other battings that's out there. I know a lot of quilters like to use Quilter's Dream batting. That particular batting, even if you're using the cotton, it's a blend. It's a little bit thicker than your Warm and Natural, so you put that on medium. If you're doing Warm and Natural, I usually put it on light. What the light does is it puts the foot closer to the fabric. Like right now, it says 2.5 is medium. When I turn to light, it automatically adjusted my foot to 1.5, which lowered my foot closer to my fabric when I'm doing free motion quilting. The reason you would move it to a light setting as opposed to a medium setting is if your foot is too high up off the fabric when you're doing free motion quilting or ruler work. Well, ruler work is basically free motion quilting. You just have to template as a guide. And what happens is when you're doing free motion quilting, the needle's doing this, it's going up and down. What you don't see is once you start quilting and you look at it, you will see the fabric between the middle of the foot. You will see your fabric doing this real fast, up and down. They call that flagging. That flagging with the fabric doing this, it's rubbing up against your thread, and it would cause it to break, cause your thread to break. So if you ever have issue, like you be going along just fine, no problem, and then if you do a lot of, free motion in a certain area where the fabric gets kind of packed down and your thread breaks, that's because your foot is too high up. Lower your pressure foot, number one. Number two is after you lower pressure, your pressure foot, you may need to lower it some more if you're still getting flagging. The other thing that can cause flagging is your needle may have gotten dull. Okay, when was the last time you changed your needle? Okay, change your needle more often. The old rule used to be, oh, you change your needle every 8 hours of sewing. That was when people were making garments. No, and you make a garment, an entire outfit, okay, it may take you 8 hours. Quilting, you may be quilting more than 8 hours and you're not done with that quilt yet. So especially machine embroidery, think of how many times the needle's going this, how many stitches you're putting going down like this. So your needle has gotten dull. So change your needle more often. Okay. How often I can't tell you because I don't know how heavy your stitching is. Learn to, just learn. Tell yourself to change your needles more often. What I do is if I'm doing machine embroidery or sewing or whatever, and I'm bad at this because I don't ever put a post-it note and say, to tell myself to change the needle. But when I do machine embroidery, the first thing I do is I take that needle out, and I got to a point where I take the needle out and I can poke it against my finger. I can feel the difference. If a dull needle feels different than a sharp needle. I mean, I don't poke it so much where, my finger is bleeding, but you can tell the difference. And I can feel a dull needle. So if the needle feels dull, just replace it. That is the cheapest thing you can do for sewing. You're spending all that money on thread and fabric and everything else. Why not change a needle? Okay, that's the most important thing. If you don't get anything out of this, change your needle more often. I think a lot of people will tell you that also. Change your needle more often. And then sometimes, depending on the brand or thread you get, you never know. Especially dark colors, I find dark color seems to break more than lighter color thread. That's because they put so much dye in the dark colors. So the dark color thread has tendency to be weaker and it causes to break more often. Okay. And so it depends on the thread brand you're using. Some brand breaks more than other. Okay, that's just a little bit about that. Now let's go back. We talked about ruler work. Let's talk about doing applique. Okay, this feature here, I'm going to bring my feed dogs up. Machine just told me that because I went from free motion quilting. I brought my feed dogs up. Now on this machine, we get asked this a lot. I just brought my feed dogs up. You see, my feed dog stays down. When I take my first stitch, or if you're unsure that the feed dogs are up, hit your needle up, needle down twice, and you see my feed dogs are back up. It's just that simple. Okay. When in doubt, use the needle up, needle down button, and you can see if your needles are back up or not. Your feed dogs are back up or not. Now, in applique, I want to show you this. When you're doing applique, the first thing you need to do is turn on the foot up feature. That's because I'm doing applique, you're going to do a turn somewhere in that applique. You're going to do a turn, whether it be a circle, a diamond, anything, you're going to be making a turn. So you're going to use the foot up feature. The other thing is, if you're going to do a corner, right now, you see on the screen, I just have like a blanket stitch. That's straight. If I touch this button right here, now you see I have a corner right here. This is called a cornering feature. I'm letting the machine know I'm going to have to do a cornering feature. And also right here on the very top of my screen, where the triangle, it looks like a triangle with the letter B right here, means beginning. And you'll see there's a corner for the applique stitch. Okay. My needle, it's already preset in the down position. And what I'm going to do is this. Let's pretend I have a square. I'm doing a square, okay? So if I was actually doing this with a true applique and I'm not using my foot control, I hit slow down the speed and start sewing. Okay, it's doing a blanket stitch. I'm talking to you, so I'm not counting my stitches. For those of you who done applique, you know what I mean. We always have to count our stitches so we get them just right. So when I get to my corner, I would go ahead and stop. You see how the foot just came up? Right here, the foot came up. I can pivot. Then I'm going to come over here and touch the B key. And when I did that, I don't know if you guys could hear the machine it made a little sound. What that did was, it's going to cycle to the very first start of my applique stitch, meaning no matter where I stopped at, it's going to go to the very first stitch. So it's going to take the 2 stitch first before it takes the bite. So right here, see how I'm taking the 2 stitch before it took that bite? I'm going to do a couple of more stitches. And then you just want to make sure when you're doing this, the needle swing is on the right-hand side and not in the middle of the left. Okay, hit the stop button. My needles is on the right. The foot is up. I'm going to pivot. Make sure I'm straight here. Hit start. Oops. And I forgot to hit the start over key, which I'm supposed to do. Let's see what happens. Maybe I got lucky. Okay, coming to the end. Stop. Hit the start over key. Pivot. Well, I got lucky that time because it didn't cross over. Okay, let's stop this. So I'm going to take it off so you guys can see it. You see right here where it made a perfect corner. Here, I forgot to hit the start over key and it cut over here, cut across the stitch. That's why we usually, when we do applique, we count the stitches to avoid this. Okay, so this is doing blanket stitch. The other thing I love about here is up here, you see this thing, it kind of looks like a sideways hamburger. This is my mirror imaging key. So let's say I want the bike to the right instead of to the left, instead of flipping my whole fabric, because if you're doing this on a big quilt, you don't want to sit there and try to pull all that quilt through the machine. I can just simply touch this button and flip the fabric over to the other side. So now my bite is over to the left, to the right versus to the left. So that's another cool thing I love on this machine. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we talked about applique, and as you can see on the machine, we also have M and R. M on the machine means the needle's in the center needle position. Being in the center needle position, I can actually get a 9mm bite on this bike stitch. And what you would have to do is on the stitch width length, the width right here, hit plus. And if I hold it down, I'll let you see, it'll go up to 9mm width. And this is a big bite. I'll stitch it just a little bit to show you. Now, if you're doing that big of a bite, and what I do sometime is I would like put a bigger eye needle in. I'm going to stop in a minute. And then I would go down here, instead of letting it sit at the default 2.5, I'm going to take this up all the way up to 5.0 stitch length. And then I'll bring it out and let you guys see the difference in a minute. By putting a 5.0 stitch length, if I'm doing like a polar fleece or something like that, I can do a blanket stitch around the edge of the polar fleece. So that way my blanket will kind of look like the ones you get in the store. You see the difference? See how big that bite is right here? This is your 9mm right here. See, I lengthen it to the 5mm width versus the 2.4mm width, or the smaller width, the regular bite, the extra large bite. You guys can see here. So you can play with it on everything in between on that. Now, in order to get to a 9mm bite, you have to be in sewing applications, because up here in applique, just in a decorative stitch section, we do have some applique stitches, but those applique stitches will only let you go up to 7mm max. It won't let you go past 7mm. In order to get to the 9mm stitch width, you need to go into sewing application to do that. You have more choices here, and then you only have like a couple of choices down here in the sewing application. The middle will let you move the bite left or right, whereas if it's on the R, means to drop the needle to the right section, it will only let you move the needle to the left. You can't move the bite to the other side. Okay, this is a double stitch right here. See, this is a triple stitch. It's stitched back and forth 3 times and takes 2 bites back and forth. If you don't like it, it's too heavy, you can do the bottom one, which is a lighter stitch down here. Okay, and I'm using a regular sewing thread, so it's thinner. If you want to show up, use a heavier cotton quilting thread, and your stitches will show up more that way. Okay, let's go back. Okay, if I'm on the screen, let's say I'm done with this, and I want to go to, let's say I want to go look at heirloom stitches. What I need to do is come up here to my decorative stitch tab, select that. In my decorative stitch tab, I got a bunch of categories, just like the categories up here. See, I have applique right here, heirloom right here, quilting stitches, which is this section, and so forth. So let's say I did say heirloom, so I simply touch heirloom. The first stitch on every page will be the first thing that's showing up on my display window. So let's say I want some of these stitches that are further in, okay, like right here. Let's say I want to look at stitch number 24. I have the numbers on the screen also, the different numbers. Turn my page. It ends on 20. Turn another page. And right there is number 24. Select that. Now, let's say I want to combine these stitches. I can easily combine on this machine. Right here on the top, you have a row of hearts. No, you can't see it on the camera because it's kind of grayed out in the background. Next to the foot up key, it's a combine key. If I select that, you have hearts, spades, and diamonds will be right there. My screen has gone to blank. That means I have selected a combine key. So now it lets me combine my stitches. So let's say I want to combine stitch number 24. Okay, and let's say I want to look up here and I want to combine like stitch number 2. So I just scoot over till I get to number 2. Now I got 2 on here. But let's say I want something in pictographs. Okay, it's a whole nother category. I simply come back up here to decorative stitch, go to the pictograph section by touching the arrow. Here's my pictograph section. and I look up here to see what I want to use. Let's say I want to select the elephant right here. Okay, I can scroll to the next page. The elephant's number 17. I select that, and it just combined it to there. And then if I want to do something else, let's say I want these next one. I love to do these next one. It's a needle with a spool of thread and scissors. I can simply go to the next page where those are my stitches right here, my needle, my thread, and scissors. And as you can see, as I'm combining, the stitches drop off. I can't see what all my combined stitches look like. So I want to see it. So what I can do is touch the display window right here. It opens up another window and it shows all my stitches, that how it's combined. And this is how it would stitch out. Okay. And it's going to be exactly how it's going to stitch out. This is my preview window, so I can see it. And if I have more than this, it will fill up this entire line. I can touch next and it'll give me more room. I believe on this machine you can go up to 400 slots. So you can pick 400 designs, 400 spaces. I mean, a space key will be counted as a design. And if you want a space, the space doesn't show up on here, but let me show you where it is. Right here, on every page on your design, you'll see a broken square. That is your space right here. You see that? You see a broken square on the screen? That is your space. When you're stitching this out, it'll just be a jump stitch. Okay? What that is great for, let's say I want to add some lettering. You have letterings built into this machine. I simply touch the letter A. When I touch that, it gives me 4 different fonts to choose from. I have block, script, Broadway, or 9mm block. Now, what's the difference between the regular block and the 9mm block? 9mm block, all you have is uppercase. There is no uppercase letters. Whereas the regular block, you have upper and lowercase letter. The reason being you have no lowercase in the 9mm block is this, because when you go to letters like Q, okay, here's your uppercase Q. If I need to change this to a lowercase q, up here on the top where the font section is, right now is showing this letter A in uppercase. If I touch this, you can see all my letters went to lowercase. The Q hangs down. You guys can see how it hangs down. This line also stays the same. Is because the Q hangs down, it has to allow room for the 9mm. So you can't have this, the whole thing be 9mm and have the Q be sticking down lower. So you'd have no, so this is not true 9mm in the regular block. So if you want a true 9mm letters, you would have to use the 9mm block, which means you have no lowercase. And so I'm going to point out the difference. And the other thing is we have a choice between small and large letterings. Right now it's on L. Okay, so let me go back to uppercase and I'm going to choose the letter A. Okay, this is my large letter. If I want a small a, there is your height difference in uppercase, because people always want to ask, what's the difference in the large and your small letters? Well, there it is. Okay, I usually stitch it out because, you know, here in America, we're not that savvy on metric. Okay, so this will be in millimeters. So I can't tell you what it is in inches because it wouldn't match anyway. So the best thing to do is just stitch it out, because sometimes when you're trying to fit something into something, maybe the large letter is too big, change it to small. Okay, let's say you make a mistake. It's easily correctable. Down here on the other two sides of your letters, you see you have two arrows right here. So if I want to delete something, let's say I don't want this space here. Now I want to delete the space key. How do I do that? Very simple. Right here, you see I have a cursor right here. It's in blue. Whoops. Touch the screen. I don't want to touch the screen. It's in blue right here. I'm going to touch this arrow, and it moves my cursor. When it moves, right now it's underneath the A. I know you can't see it with all the studio lights, but this is actually turned blue to let me know I'm editing this one font, design, whatever. I'm editing this part right here. So I'm going to move it up to the space where it is highlighted right here. I have a trash can right here. Touch the trash can, and I just deleted it. See, it's gone. I just deleted it off of here. Now I can also insert something. Okay, let's move this back up so you guys can see. I moved the thing up. If I want to insert something, I'm going to move the cursor down. The Q is highlighted. I want to insert something on top of the letter Q underneath the scissors. Okay, I'm going to select decorative stitch. Go back over here. Let's say I want to insert a long stitch. We haven't looked in that category yet. So I'm going to select long. I want to insert, like, let's say number 1. Select that. And of course it disappeared. So if I open up the window, you can see there it is. There's where my scissors are. It just inserted this underneath the scissors on top of the letter Q. So when I stitch it out, this will be my design. So let me quickly stitch this out for you, and you guys can take a look at it, see what I'm talking about. So first of all, I need to change out my foot. I'm going to put the F foot on, which is my decorative foot, to allow the stitches to travel through. Okay. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit. And you can really see how nice and big these 9mm stitches are. As you can see when you're sewing, it highlights the design that is being stitched. And so you can actually see what you are stitching on the screen. You know where in the process it is while it's stitching out. It's on this long design right now. It's about to stitch the letter Q. You notice how quiet the machine is while it's stitching? It's kind of noisy to me because we're on the hard floor here and there's nothing to absorb the vibration in the machine. I should have just put this mat underneath the machine to absorb some of the noise. Now it's just stitched to the last letter and it stopped. That's because I had a lettering. I'm going to cut this to show you. There is my combination design. It doesn't look great right here, but as you can see, I open up the edit screen. There's my design showing you how it would look like stitched out. So this is it right here. Okay. Now, because I had a letter at the end of my pattern, the machine will stop at the end of a letter. If I took the letters out and I don't have any letters and I just have designs, the machine, when it gets to here, it will start over from the beginning and repeat the pattern combination. So if that was the case, what I would do is this, okay? So if you were doing this and you didn't have the letters here, okay? I'm going to delete these letters out, show you guys. Move this cursor back up 1. Okay, I don't have the letters here. Now the design will repeat. What I'm going to do is hit the locking key, which is the LS stands for locking key. It looks like a bullseye, just like what's here on the machine. I would attach that to it. So what happens now is when I open up the screen, you'll see it puts a locking stitch on the end. So that means when it comes to here, it would do a locking stitch and tie it off. Now, if I had this on here and I decided, oh, I want to add some more stuff to it, that will stop me from adding way more patterns to the design too. So what that means is I need to delete this. So you need to come back to the trash can and just delete that. So it just deleted the last thing. Now I can go and continue and add stuff to it. Okay. Okay, let's say I can go to anywhere on here and just combine the pattern. Okay, I'm gonna stitch this, but I'm gonna shorten it up some so we're not just sitting here watching this thing stitch out. How's that? Okay, I'm gonna delete some of these off. So we just have a couple of them. Okay, so here it is again. We're gonna start with the needle. And you can watch again. It's stitching the needle. Then it's doing the thread. There's the scissors. Now he's doing the first long stitch. And it's almost there. And then there's the last thing. And what happened to my... Okay. Now you see it started from the beginning again. Now if I want to stop, like I'm running out of fabric, I can hit the tie off key here. By hitting the tie off key on the machine, it would finish up the scissors that it was stitching and tie it off. You see how it started with the needle and thread and stitch all this design, came up to here. Because I don't have a locking stitch here, it continue on. See from here, it continue on. If I touch the locking key on the machine, it would stitch the whole pattern and tie it off. Another thing I could do is this, okay? If I start it off now, it will continue with the needle. Okay, so let's start again. I'll show you what happened. The other way I can stop it is this. Let's say I'm stitching it halfway through. Now I want to stop immediately, touch the reverse key, and it automatically lock off in place, tie off, lock off in the middle of the design. You see the scissors right here? It just stopped it in the middle and locked it off. If you didn't want it to lock off, I could just hit the stop key. It would just stop it just like this. By hitting the tie off key here, it locks it off so you don't accidentally get a run on your machine. So let's do it again. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one out because it takes so long and we don't need to sit here and watch it stitching. You guys get the idea. Put locking stitch. See how the cursor's right here on this list, this one right here, it won't put a locking stitch because it wants to put it above. So what I have to do is move the cursor down to empty spot. Now I can touch the locking key. It will lock it out. Now what will happen is when I stitch this pattern, it's doing the scissors now. It's not going to take that long. And here's doing the flower. And watch, it's going to lock itself off right now. It's doing the locking stitch. Did you see that? And did a couple of stitches, locked it off. And there's my pattern. Okay? And there's the back of the design. Okay? Just to let you know, if you're doing decorative stitches, you need to have some kind of this is a heavyweight stabilizer, an iron-on interfacing I put on the back of here. So if you were doing any type of decorative stitch, you will need to either use a piece of stabilizer or something behind it, or iron some kind of heavyweight stabilizer on the back of your fabric. Just an empty piece of cotton fabric is not going to be strong enough. It's going to pucker up I've tried this. I've tried using starch. It still wasn't thick enough. So you do need something behind it. Anytime you're doing decorative stitches, anything with a wide, like 9mm stitch, you can do that. Another thing we can do is on these designs is here. Right now, the thread is up here. I haven't done anything. It's showing me my default size is 9mm in width, which is the largest. I can't make it any bigger this way, but it will let me shrink it down some. You see how it's shrinking down now? It's skinnier here. And I can also shrink it down. You guys see that on the screen? So I shrunk that down. Now I can go down to the next one by cursoring it down, the spool of thread. And I've played with the spool of thread before. And what I did was not only did I shrink it down this way, the widthwise, I also shrunk it down lengthwise. By shrinking it down lengthwise, like so, or you don't want to shrink it down too much. If this will give it, looks like a solid spool, like almost like a satin stitch, if you shrunk this down. If you were using variegated thread, this will give it almost a solid color here, and it'll stitch the next spool. If you just have thread here, and the next spool, when it's stitched the center part, and you get lucky, you'll look like you have another color spool of thread down and going forth. So that you just have to play with it. I was happened to be lucky when I did it, that it gave me one color thread here, another spool, this different color without having to switch multiple types of thread. Okay, so I'm going to leave the scissors and the rest alone, and then you guys can stitch it out so you guys can see what the difference is. I'm going to try to stitch in the same area as where I started the last fabric so you guys can see. And we still have the locking stitch in there, so it'll automatically lock off. Okay. Can you guys see the difference? Here's the original size. Here's where I went and shrunk it down. Look at the scissors. Original size, shrunk down size. So that's why I said, play with your stitches. There's your needle and thread. Just think about how cute this would be if you were doing something like if you like making children's clothing. I know some of you have grandkids and stuff like that. If you were doing children's clothing, okay, or making hair bows and stuff like that, how cute would this be if you took this design right here, the needle, the thread, and scissors, and shrunk all three down and stitch it onto a piece of ribbon? And that'd be real cute. And you can make your own custom ribbon. Or doing something like this, and you're making tote bags. Stitch the design combination onto your tote bag, and also do it onto a piece of webbing and put it on to the tote bag. It really can make it very customizable. And then you can also put your name on there. You can put the person's first name on there if you want to. How about making wedding? Wedding season is going to be coming up soon. You can make your own customized wedding. You can put the bride and groom's name, put a heart in the middle. There's all kinds of fun things you can do with this machine. What you can do is limitless. I mean, there's 350 built-in designs, but when you think about it, by the time you shrink these designs down, because most of them, they come in already at the max width. You can't make them any bigger, but you can always make them smaller. So now you can say you have more designs after that. Okay. The other thing is you can mirror image them. Like for this needle and thread, for example, I can mirror image it, like turn it upside down. Like right here, if you look right now, the needle's facing down. Now the needle's facing up. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Now this is pointing up. The thread will stay the same. You're not going to be able to tell the difference. The thread, same thing. Scissors. If I want it going up, I can just flip it up this way. So it's real fun. Things you can play with it. The flower, I can mirror image it the other way by touching the mirror imaging key. So I tell people, look at the hamburger, the one that looks like it's on the side, that mirror image left to right. The one that mirrors upside down is like a standard hamburger, like if you were going to eat it. This one, if it's like going to be left to right, upside down, and that's how it will be. So let's see it. There, you see the difference? Okay, so let's stitch it out and see what it looks like. I'll close this window here. I don't need it. The foot, I just turned off the foot up feature because I don't need it, because I'm not pivoting or anything. I was doing the flower now. There it is. He's doing tie off. You see the difference? Here's the needle pointing up versus down. The spool thread's the same. The scissors is reversed. And the flower is flipped over to the other direction. So there's lots you can do with this machine. I think it's very simple, easy to do. You can also save it. Okay, there is a USB port on the side of this machine where you can save the design into the built-in, to a USB or the built-in memory of the machine. To save it in, we have up here in the very top, it looks like a file folder with the arrow going in. We touch the file folder right here, and this our save into file folder. Right now, since I don't have a USB, I just have a sewing machine icons right here because that's where it wants to default to. Okay. So, and what I would do is touch the pencil, okay, give it a name, and give it a name, and then save it, and then you actually save it to the machine. If I had a USB, you would select the USB and save it to the USB. This is all very easy to do. And it's all, it's in the manual. And to me, this is a very intuitive, easy machine to use. Anybody have any questions? I'm sure they've been answering questions while I've been yapping away here.
Well, hey, Sam, that was a great job. So anybody, if y'all have questions for Sam right now about this machine, go ahead and put them in the chat right now. And we're going to try to answer any questions you have before we let Sam get out of here. I tell you, Sam, this machine has been out for 10 years, and the only thing they've really changed, they made it a little sleeker design. They've changed a few little features on it, but it has just been rock solid for a long time, and that's why it's still around, and that's why we have an anniversary edition.
It's a great machine. I know somebody asked how much the machine weighs. It weighs 24 pounds.
Yep, 24. It's
so
it's a really lightweight machine, and I call it a mid-sized machine. It's not really a big machine. It's very manageable as far as the weight, and it doesn't take up a lot of room. But man, I tell you what, this thing is just packed full of features. And my favorite feature, I guess, of this machine, Sam, is all the accessories that come with it and the bundle, the bonus package.
Yes, I think it's great too. I love it. I mean, they're giving you, so you almost have like the MA or the CM17 without being.
You're exactly right. I know everybody out there. Is there any more questions coming through? I don't see any. Oh, size of the throat space, Sam. You didn't talk about that. What's the
8.3 inches.
How much?
8.3.
8.3. And then what is the harp height?
The harp, I would say about 4
inches. That's what I was thinking, is around 4. So 8.3 by 4 inches in height. So you can put a quilt in under that, roll the quilt up, and if you want to do some free motion quilting or do piecing, whatever you want to do, great machine. Also, Rebecca's asking, can you use the interface instead of stabilizer if you don't embroider?
Yes. This is what I have back here, is stabilizer. I mean, not stabilizer. This is interfacing. I just use a heavyweight iron-on interfacing.
How many layers of fabric sew smoothly?
Depends on thickness of your fabric. What I tell people is, however high this foot is, as long as you can get it underneath the foot, it'll sew it.
Yeah,
because if your fabric is too thick,
those things, it does a lot. I mean, we put jeans, blue jeans under it, and I can't even remember how many layers it was, but whatever we could get under the foot, it would sew it. So
I
you're
would think
right.
it would say at least 1/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah. Linda Brooks is saying, super, does it sew through thick layers? Yes, it does. All right. What else do we have? Any more questions out there? I'm going to get to the price and what we have today.
I'm sure you have a good price for it.
We do. We got a great special today for this. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary as well. So that's why we featured this machine today. And I tell you what, a lot of people don't know too, Sam. All the Janome machines, they pride themselves on that metal chassis.
Yes.
And that's what makes these machines, I call them bulletproof. They last and last and last. And if we have Janome fans out there, y'all already know it. But I just want to know right now, how many of y'all have we switched? How many is a Janome fan right now after seeing Sam's demonstration and all the things he showed you? Who've all become a Janome fan right now? Bernadette's asking, does it come with a case?
It has a soft case, like goes over it, and has a place where you can put the case over and lift it. It's a soft case. It's not like a hard plastic case. They call it a semi-hard cover.
Hey, Sam, Joyce is wanting to know, do you come with the purchase?
Close enough.
Well, she can go back and watch this video. So basically you're coming with the purchase today. So you can rewatch all the features. This is going to be posted on Facebook and YouTube. The easiest way to find it is go to our YouTube channel and find it there. And you'll be able to watch it again and watch Sam as much as you want, rewatch it, all the features and things. So 10 years of the same machine truly states the model is long lasting. It is. It really is. And again, it's one of those things. Why reinvent the wheel? They just made it better.
That's right.
Tiffany says, is it Bluetooth as well? It is not Bluetooth, Tiffany. I know that question or that answer. All right, what else we got?
Machine.
Does it come with a large spool holder?
It doesn't come with a large spool holder, but you can get one. You can get a spool stand for it as an optional add-on. It's called a 2-thread spool stand.
Yep. And Teresa Castile says, can you open the front end again?
Sure.
There we go.
Now, one thing with the front end open, I can show you this.
Go ahead and go to one screen with Sam. Let's go to one screen so they can see it a little better. Andrew, just go to Sam, and then I think they're going to zoom in. There we go.
Okay. You see this little black bar right here on the cover? Any Janome machine, if you can open up the side cover and has this little black bar, underneath it, there's a little hole. We have magnifiers that you can get. It's an optional add-on, and the magnifier will attach to here. When you close it, the magnifier sticks right up front, and the lenses come in a set of 3. You get a 20, 40, and 60 magnification. And they would just swing, put it here. If we don't want to use it, you can swing it out of position. It's an add-on. So that's why I want to point that out to everybody who's looking, who has a machine that opens it up. Okay. Even some of our entry-level machine, the more lighter weight travel machine, have that also.
Okay. Any last questions for Sam before we let Sam get out of here? Anybody else? All right, I think we're Sam, very thorough, great job today. I think you've got everybody fired up about it. Oh, it says, does machine have to be oiled? Yes, every machine has to be oiled. And you want to put a little drop just about, every time you want to use it in that bobbin case area. That's kind of my rule of thumb. And I don't know, Sam, if you believe in air, but I like compressed air to blow the lint out before every use, and then put my little drop of oil in.
Either that, or just take a soft cloth and wipe it out.
Cloth and wipe it down. Yep. All right, Sam. Well, hey, thank you so much to you coming in today. Thanks for Janome letting you. And
Well,
we're
thank
going to tell
you for
everybody
having
how they
me.
can get this, Sam.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll see you soon. All right, everybody, you saw it here today with Sam Fung. And I tell you what, how many people chatted in that they became a Janome fan today?
Good amount.
Was there a good amount?
Yeah, people were excited.
All right. So I tell you, I've been a Janome fan for a long time for that very reason, just because of what you saw today. And Sam made that machine. I'm telling you, it just is such a good machine. And so now I'm going to tell you what kind of price you can get. So let's put that overlay up there. Look at that, guys. It is $26.99. You're also going to get that free $260 value, that accessory kit that comes with it. And it is, we're going to have those as long as until they run out. We're going to keep giving that special away. But this is the anniversary edition. Now, again, this is that midline, what we call sewing machine, 24 pounds. It's not a really big machine, but look at the price, $26.99. And you saw all the features that this thing is loaded with. And again, it has that 350 design or stitches. It has 10 fonts, 11 one-step buttonholes. It has that top loading 9mm full rotary hook, the Stitch Composer, Stitch Creation Program, automatic thread tension, superior needle threader, has that snap-on presser feet, and you saw all the presser feet that are coming with this. I mean, we're giving you a ton of feet with this machine, plus the bonus pack. And it is just loaded up with features. And again, the size of this machine, it's 12.5 inches wide. It's 8.6 inches deep, and it's going to weigh 24 pounds. And then we told you about the harp is 4 inches high. The throat space is 8.3 inches. So, and you got that full LCD screen. I tell you what, this is a great value today. And we do have the call-in special. So give us a call. If you're interested in this machine today, we're going to make a great offer for you to be able to purchase this. We have some financing available. Get on the phone right now. Call our call center, 800-401-8151. If you are interested in this, because I know some of you had to become a Janome fan today. And if you've been in the market for a new sewing and quilting machine, I tell you what, you can't get any better than this for that price. This is such a great price for all the features you're getting. This thing is just loaded up. And, Sam went over this for just a little over an hour, and he still didn't touch all the features. So if that shows you anything right there. And one great thing about it, you'll still have this video that you can go back and reference and, at a later time or anytime you want. So, all right, guys, well, we hope you enjoyed Sam's demo today. He did such a good job, but we're going to give some stuff away for thanking y'all for being on our broadcast today. And, it's easy to win here. All you have to do is participate in the show, ask questions, make comments, and get you entered to win. So first thing we're going to do today, we're going to give away a $25 gift card to SMP. And these are very easy to use. Whoever wins it, we email you a gift card code and you put it in at checkout and it knocks $25 off your purchase. It's that simple. So let's spin that wheel. Here we go. I like seeing all the names flashing by. Dorothy Belcher is our winner. Dorothy is watching today from YouTube. So congratulations, Dorothy. You just won yourself a $25 gift card to Sewing Machines Plus. Now, Dorothy, to claim that prize, you need to go to smplive.tv, scroll down toward the bottom of that page till it says where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information complete, hit submit, and once we get that in, they will email you a gift card code back to your email address, and then you can just use it at checkout. That's simple. All right, next up, we are going to give away one of our world famous sew mats. We're going to give away a extra large size in the blueberry color, which we don't have that. That's not on the screen. It's kind of a cross between that brother blue and the LSU purple, as I call it. And so it's kind of like a Concord grape color. But we're going to give one of those away in an extra large size right now. So Andrew, spin that wheel. The only problem with your name flashing up like right now, you're not going to win. It's passing you by. Paula M. Paula M is our winner. Got the German Shepherd there as her picture with the American flag. That's kind of cool. I like that, Paula. She is watching today from YouTube. So Paula, to claim that prize, you need to go to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize. Fill out all that information complete. Hit submit, and we'll get your blueberry extra large mat shipped right to you. All right, next up, we are going to give away one of our P-Touch label makers from Brother, and this is the Embellished Elite. This is a Bluetooth that goes right to your smartphone, and it makes it 10 times easier to type in names and things in it, and then all you have to do is hit print, and it just prints it right out. It's a $129 value, plus we're going to give you about $70 worth of tape with it as well, some extra tape and some colors and things. So, Andrew, spin that wheel. Here we go. Do we have some spinning music going?
Some spin music.
I think we need some spin music. Mace from YouTube. So May, you just won yourself a Brother P-Touch label maker. To claim that prize, you need to go to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information, hit submit, and we'll get your new P-Touch and your tape right out to you. All right, we're going to give one more of these away today. So Andrew, spin that wheel again. Renee Hoff. So Renee is watching today from YouTube. So congratulations, Renee. You just won yourself a P-Touch label maker from Brother. And we are going to get that shipped out to you. But first, you have to go to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize. Fill out all that information complete. Hit submit. And once we get that in, we will get your P-Touch and all your extra tape. $70 worth of tape sent right to your doorstep, absolutely free. And y'all all have 30 days to claim your prizes, or Andrew's going to throw them back in the prize closet. All right, everybody. Well, thank y'all for joining in today. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I really did. I think Sam did such a good job. And as always, man, that Janome machine just makes you want one. It's such a good machine. But I hope everybody stays safe out there. I hope your weather doesn't get too bad. And we will see you, every one of y'all, we'll see y'all next week on Wednesday afternoon, 3 p.m., Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, and Friday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific. Me and Jane will be at the Road to California Quilt Show. We'll come to you live from there, give you a little behind the scenes look of what's going on. And anyway, hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.